being invaded by a bug. We'll figure outside.
Maybe he's looking for the polls.
We'll figure outside there's a bug.
420 people. Tuesday.
So
November 5.
We've been absent for a couple of days, a few days.
We can fill them in a little bit. Hey, Paula.
What do you mean? Let's keep them in suspense.
No, I just, November 1st was Friday, and it was your mother's birthday, and that's, I think, when we were last on. I think
Sunday?
No, Friday.
Friday? It's Tuesday.
I know. And that's really
Hey, Ken.
wrong. Hi, Ken.
So today is election day here where we are in New Jersey, and probably many places across the country. And this is a kind of an in-between election with a lot of local races going on, which is the exact reason why everyone should really exercise their vote.
Your
now,
vote,
especially
your voice.
You may feel like your vote doesn't count in something like a presidential election, which is crazy too, because your vote counts all the time, right? Because people would give anything in other countries to have the right to vote. So I never quite understood why there wasn't 100% voter turnout. Instead of I think locally sometimes it's been as low as 20 or 30%, which is crazy. Someone just posted on one of the local boards.
I'm going to get that book.
Like about voter turnout. Can anyone get a gauge on voter turnout and voter turnout and if it's light turnout, you should definitely get out and vote. And if it's a heavy turnout, you should definitely go out and vote. And we were number 79 and 80.
Wait, you're right. This afternoon.
79 and 80 at 1:30 this afternoon.
1:30-ish.
So the polls had been open since 6 a.m.
That's not a lot of people. Can't be.
Right. So just in our district, we were number 79 and 80.
And Mindy, hi.
Which I think is kind of light. I mean.
And Ellen was 81. Ellen,
and
our neighbor,
and
friend.
Who would have thought our neighbor would be there voting in the same district as us?
But Alex, it's frustrating because Alex.
Yeah, well, his still, the whole thing with him being away at college, where he had
But I went to town hall.
Ballot.
I was
but
told.
It didn't, for some reason, it didn't.
But something, I have to tell you something. We're highly involved in our town, in our community. Maybe not as much as we used to, but actually I shouldn't say that. We really are. Okay.
Well, just
we attend a lot more than
different
most.
Types of involvement. Like when our kids were young, we were always doing stuff with the school. That was where our focus was.
You know
right?
what? But we still care about the kids and our future. So,
yes, but then it changed as it got older. We started being involved in more community-wide involved.
And even with the so some of the people that were up for election were people for the town council and for the board of ed, and
there was also at the
assembly,
at the county level,
freeholder,
also and state level,
freeholder, right. So and then there was the question, which we didn't discuss, because usually when there's a question
to appropriate funds for veterans.
I vote yes.
Yeah, I voted for that.
Okay, I voted yes. But you know what? I gotta tell you something. Tony Cucci came up my feed to friend. I sent him a friend request. I don't know if we were friends before.
Well, he came up because he's been posting lately because he's involved in SopranoCon at the Meadowlands Convention Center. Our friend Tony, who always Facebook thinks that I'm Tony, and whenever we're live, Facebook puts up a message. Would you like to tag Tony Cucci in this video? Because it thinks I'm Tony. We're very good looking guys. Tony's actually an ex-Chippendale dancer.
You're not.
And an actor. And
you're not.
And Tony played Fat Dom on The Sopranos and the later seasons, and Tony had his head cut off, and I think thrown down a sewer, and so Tony's also a videographer, so he came to a video meeting once, and they had, I guess, gifted him one of the severed heads. There were like 7. They made 7
Like at the Wax
molds
Museum,
of his
right.
head that they used for, I guess, for different things at shooting, and he actually was able to get one of the severed heads, and it sits in his office. So he sits there, and there's a head that looks very much like Tony's head, severed in a glass box.
Which has nothing to do with voting, but it was an interesting story nevertheless. But the thing is it's interesting in New Jersey, which many of you may or may not know, because you're not all from New Jersey, is that New Jersey, it's the teachers, there's a conference down in Atlantic City,
Right.
and that's on Thursday
Which
and
none of
Friday.
the teachers seem to go to.
Lindsay
They
went
just
at
like
the first
to,
year.
they just like to take the days off.
Well, it's not required. It's not a prerequisite.
No.
But it's also.
But her first year
But
she
the
went.
kids are off. Hey, Bob. Bob is out.
Hey, Bob.
We hope we'll see you 11:20.
Yeah, I think he marked that he was coming.
Great, awesome. So bring people, bring friends.
Bring enemies.
So 11. No, not 11:20. What I was going to say is. So the kid, so it's in Lindsay's, an art teacher, as many of you know, and so she had a regular day yesterday. Today she had a professional development day, so the kids were off, I think, or had a half day. I think they were off, and then tomorrow is, I think, a half day, and then Thursday and Friday she's off, which is awesome. But it is a very popular getaway week for families because they're off most of the week, and most people have no problem taking their kids out of school. But when it comes to the vote, so we know a lot of the people that have been endorsing certain people in town, which is interesting. And there are some people.
Yeah, there's a vote for one council seat for 1 year, which is a remaining year from a council member who stepped down early.
Moved out of town.
Moved
That's
out of
why.
town, right?
So he couldn't.
Right.
Moved to West Orange.
Right, and then also
Amy Elliott,
for Board
thank
of
you
Ed.
for sharing my posts.
For Board of Ed, is it 4 years for Board of Ed?
I think
Position?
I
I
think
think
so.
it's 4 years.
So what's interesting is that you
So two positions.
you get to
on Board of
learn
Ed.
about them over the months.
And we know everyone who's running,
Right.
basically.
And we did
in
go
some capacity.
And we went to the meetings to listen to even more of the debates and
Right, went to a debate.
and listen online to some their platforms and what they want to do. And I'm not going to really elaborate on my truest feelings of the options that we have. I like all the people that were running. I do. I like them all. Okay. I do think being involved in community tips the scale for me. I do. That's for me. I think that someone who knows the businesses in town, the schools in town, the community at large of what are they listening to what we want.
Yeah, I think there are certain criteria, certainly.
It's so subjective. It's so personal.
That, would make someone qualified or not qualified.
It shouldn't just be popularity. I'll tell you that.
Listen,
it should
I
not.
think-
and it shouldn't just be about money. Okay,
No.
it shouldn't be about money.
Well, it's not money. They don't get paid.
No, but I'm just saying in any election.
No,
not
well,
those.
then,
I'm just
yes.
talking about in general.
No, but
Okay?
but when you are committing to something like that, right? One of the things that I think people need to take into consideration is those running and those voting is how much time these things take. I mean, I look at the council members and they are like always
never
together,
home.
always at
And they're
events,
never home.
always at meetings, always, it's a lot of time.
A lot.
And not everyone can dedicate that amount of time. And I know through the years there have been like council members that have not been as visible as other council members.
Agreed.
And I guess based on many different things, right? So I think first and foremost, you should look at whether the person is going to have the time and make the commitment to do what a council member needs to do, which is, in my opinion, be very visible and part of the town, function. But I don't know if there's a whole lot of criteria per se, of what what you should do or shouldn't do.
Hi, Amy.
But I remember a number of years ago, I'm not going to mention who it was,
Okay.
that was running, someone was running for a town council position, and they had never voted. So here was someone was running for a position, an elected position, and this person who was at the time, I believe, in their 20s, right? You know, maybe late 20s, if not early 30s, and they had never voted in an election. So, you know, right? So what's more important? Someone who, you know, demonstrates their civic duty, right, to vote and get out there and everything, you know, or someone that, you know, volunteers for a lot of committees, or someone who's involved at other levels, or someone who's not involved at all. I mean, you know, if they have an understanding of the town, I guess they could do a good job. But I think someone who's well known, someone who has, you know, a following behind them, makes a good candidate, because obviously as a candidate you need to motivate people, you need to have people on your side, you need to have people who support what your initiatives are, right?
Well, you
and
said,
you know, if you don't come in to the equation with that support from the town members, it could be challenging.
and it's also important to work unified and together, and
Oh yeah,
you know, and I
yeah.
think that there
have been a couple of board councils
that there's been
where there is contention,
yes,
that hasn't, which makes for interesting council meetings.
right.
But it probably presents a challenge in getting things done. But you know, you want to have dissenting opinions. I mean, your council shouldn't be voting together on everything.
No, I think there needs to. No, I think you have, again, your voice. You know, once you get elected into office,
Yeah.
you need to use your voice to do better for the community. But you talked about running, so I do want to say congratulations to all of the people that ran in the New York City Marathon on Sunday. You said those running, so it made me think of the marathon. That was Sunday.
That's something I'll never do.
Okay. Why do you never say never?
I'm never going to run a marathon.
But that's not on your bucket list.
I've talked crap about runners.
How about just
So,
getting to the gym?
fine? I'm not going to run there. I'll
So I have a couple of
drive to
other
the gym.
things that, wait a second. So the other thing that happened, so a couple of other things of the weekend. First of all, I just wanted to go back to
Mhm.
Friday night because, hi, Shai, I got to tell you something. Friday night, okay, we had such a delicious dinner for my mother-in-law's birthday at Seasons 52.
Yes.
It was outstanding. Okay.
We had a good
Excellent.
table.
And our server, Derica, was so nice. I can remember because my niece is Erica and her name was Derica. And
My
Derica.
mother thought her name was
and she thought it was,
Erica.
of course. But she brought over some, I just said to her, you know, we're celebrating my mother in law's birthday. And she came over with 6 glasses of champagne. You know, just a few sips. But it was so thoughtful.
A taste of champagne.
A taste of
Enough
champagne.
for a toast.
It was so beautiful. And desserts were fun too because they were served in little shot glasses. But
Which had more dessert in it than it appeared.
well, it's also dense. You know, what's in there. You had a chocolate peanut butter thing, which was delicious, and I just needed a little taste. I can't even remember Saturday, I want you to know. And that's kind of bothering me because what did we do?
I don't know. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. And then Sunday,
We were on time today.
Sunday, we were out and about doing a few things with the kids, with Lindsay and Elliot, and then we went to a food, and women's expo. Let me tell you, it was a free event in Edison, and there was a lot of giveaways.
A lot of people who liked free.
Meaning free food. It was a lot
Free
of free.
tastes.
It didn't look like
Free tastes
anyone
of
was
food.
buying anything. Hey, Amy. Have fun, Deborah. She's in Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg. Hey, Betsy. So we went to
It's
this
chilly out here.
event.
Whose
Yeah.
idea was it to do it outside?
Yeah. We know whose idea. And so then Sunday, and then I just want to say a couple of other things. So I just learned Friday night from Mindy, my sister, that
Sorry, I keep turning around and hearing animals shuffling in the leaves. I just want to make sure the animals are smaller than us. that are making that noise.
Season 2 of the Kaminsky Method is out, and it is fantastic. I love it. Alan Arkin and Michael Douglas, and really awesome, fun series. If you want to,
With, fabulous actors.
outstanding, have fun exploring. So the Kaminsky
Be
Method
careful.
Is really good. And
Can
then
you move over slightly?
So last night I went to the Livingston Public Library, and it was a beautiful presentation by my friend Peggy DeLong.
And I went just to
I asked-
flip through the what do they call the card? The card catalog.
Well, you also looked
Brushing
at the
up. Brushing up
Why
on
don't you
my.
tell everyone what you saw in Wired
Brushing
magazine?
up on the Dewey Decimal System.
Wired magazine. It's so
Yes,
interesting.
in Wired magazine there was a full-page ad for an electronic smoking device that is used to smoke tobacco products, but it said with no ash and no smell, and pushing their way into the space as people,
We're doing it better. Safer.
or have fear about vaping right
Philip
now.
Morris.
And it's being put out there by Philip Morris, Big Tobacco, are putting out this electronic smoking device because they're hoping that vaping will go away, so that people will go back to cigarettes.
But isn't it a vaping device that they came out
Well,
with?
it's an electronic device that uses real tobacco, of course, because they are tobacco growers. They have millions of acres of tobacco farms, or however they grow tobacco these days, and they're pumping out cigarettes. And that's what they want. And the vaping industry, because it is, and I believe, safer, an alternative, took
Hi,
a
Adam.
real chunk out of the tobacco industry, the cigarette sales, so they're thrilled. They are thrilled that people are, and I'm sure there are some people, because of all the propaganda, that were using electronic vaping devices, stopped and went back to cigarettes. I wouldn't be surprised that if they look at these next 6 months that cigarette sales increase.
I don't know. But so last night it was a wonderful thing. I was also with my friend Gina Vicaro, who works at the library, but I asked her to join me at this event. It was a very well-attended event. Peggy is the gratitude psychologist. She also makes amazing bracelets and a gratitude journal. And I asked Robert to come and take some photos and video. I did take some that Peggy posted. Prior to that, we did a testimonial with a beautiful couple that we met in May in Livingston at our Counter Pop-Up.
Jill and Andy.
Jill and Andy, and they live in South Orange, and they wanted to share their what they love about Counter Pop-Up, and also share their own personal story. Actually, Jill's story.
So we'll be sharing some of that.
Which we
We're
will
actually
share.
going through.
Because the other thing when it comes to voting, coming full circle about voting, is that that what initiatives and platforms and issues that these
Right, you have to find out what matters to you,
right.
and
And we've been trying to get a pulse. I mean, Livingston is kind of against having any retail establishment having to do with cannabis.
even medical, even completely legal medical cannabis, they are voting to not have it in Livingston. And
So we're gonna
I still haven't
continue-
asked why.
Well, we really haven't had that opportunity, but
Well, I guess I could have asked why when I got in front of them the other night, but I guess we'll ask why on the 18th.
Well, I don't know if they would answer you there. To be honest with you, I think it's really more for you just to talk when you
I mean,
get
they
up.
should. If they are behind something, shouldn't they comment as to why they're backing a certain
Well,
resolution?
you think something else is going on as well regarding the way. I really think they're trying to rush this vote.
Yeah, and it's not going to matter ultimately. Once recreational passes, they're going to have to re-vote. And it's so funny because this conversation, right, the Carpini Cup. We have a big soccer tournament that happens here in town each year
my
called the
God.
Carpini Cup. And soccer is a really big sport in Livingston.
And I'm sure it's very
And everywhere, but
common
it's a
all over
very
New
big
Jersey
sport in
and the
Livingston.
country.
A lot of kids play soccer, right? Rec
Travel soccer too, recreational soccer.
School, we have good soccer teams, girls, boys,
Kids were on Kinderkickers.
Yeah, So they have this tournament every year called the Carpini Cup, and it's town-wide, and it's very popular. And this is not the first time, but it was canceled because of the condition of the fields. When it rains, the fields are unusable for days because they don't have the proper drainage or whatever, and they keep saying, oh, we need fields, we need turf fields, and we need lights and all of that. And the response is, oh, where are we getting the money? Where are we getting the money? And in the same breath, they want to ban an industry that could generate the revenue they need to accomplish the things that they want to accomplish. What aren't they understanding?
So we're going to continue to discuss that and to see if we can enlighten them to understand that the economy for the township.
At least West Orange was talking about maybe where they would want to zone it.
Well, they had someone
And
already
put
on
it
board
in,
with that, right.
Somewhere. Where do they want to put it? Let's figure out the best place. Because, there's going to be a town, 1 or 2 towns away from wherever you are.
Which brings people to that
And
destination.
the same thread, people are complaining, we don't have a downtown. We don't have a walkable downtown. Okay? Well, let's have less reason for people to come to Livingston. No train, no cannabis.
Excuse me.
Very
I'm sorry, I'm
few,
yawning.
very few bars and restaurants that serve liquor, right? To go for a drink in Livingston.
It's limited. Very limited. And I like the BYO. So let me just tell you one other thing that I'm going to say, because I think that if you haven't voted, go vote.
Please go vote.
Please go vote.
I don't understand why there's like a 30% turnout.
What if you don't? But the one thing.
Vote.
But if you
vote,
don't
it gives
know. But at
you
least if you're a Democrat, even if that matters to you.
No, but listen to me.
No. What if you don't know enough?
If
you don't know enough about the candidates.
Then learn. Then that's your fault. But you
should
can't
they vote?
complain.
But should they vote?
Why didn't they learn about what the candidates read something?
But I think that's what holds people back. They don't even know who the candidates are and what they stand for.
People are lazy. People say, "Oh, my vote doesn't count."
I want to talk about someone who does care about what things stand for, and that's our friend Martha Ackerman. And let me tell you something. Did you read the story?
I did.
Did you?
All 300 words.
So, Sarah, that's so funny. Did it say it had to be? Did you know that?
She responded to you saying she had to encapsulate Martha.
On that,
words
I didn't
or
know you on
less.
that text or email. I didn't
You
know
didn't
on,
read it
actually,
anyway.
I didn't know you on the email.
You didn't read it.
I read it.
But then you would have known the 300
No, I
words.
did know that. That's what I mean. I was surprised you knew that fact. I didn't know how you knew that.
She was surprised I knew
Well,
something.
we're both friends with Martha, and
So Martha's sister Sarah entered Martha into a contest
with Peloton.
with Peloton to
and she
win.
called her my superhero.
Right.
And
So Martha has done amazing things
but you
for
know what
the
Martha
community.
said? But Martha has
and
also had
has
some tragedy in her life,
has had
and
lots,
health issues
has
in her life.
had some serious tragedy, and has taken that and turned it into goodness.
That's
okay,
what I told
and
her.
mission, and
I said,
so
everyone's story matters.
So,
It helps
so
other people.
Martha won a Peloton
And lots of
along
swag,
with membership
and 3-year
and
membership.
clothes and
I
everything.
mean, like,
Great
and not like that, but
prize.
sisters that do that for sisters, or people that do that for people. But I am so wowed by, I'm not surprised because they have a very special relationship and family matters.
Right.
Bye, Lindsay. Talk to you later. Love you.
Have fun storming the castle.
So, anyways, I think if anyone could run, it would be Martha and Alan. And, but they do enough when it comes to you closing the door. Because the little chipmunks will run in. Because chipmunks are little. She is someone so highly involved, and she's a selfless person. So she gives and gives and gives. Even Livingston Neighbors, helping neighbors, working with Stacy Rubenstein and a whole bunch of other people.
Martha's
Safety
everywhere.
Committee,
Martha's
Children's
everywhere.
Theater of Livingston. She is
Skate park committee.
No. And the Arts Council.
Everywhere.
And planning, and and the school, and she cares about the kids. We all care about the kids. That's why. That's the common denominator. Okay. it's not only loving our own children, but making sure that everybody in this town and
And
surrounding
Martha
towns,
being in the schools, all the kids know
they know
Martha.
her. And if you need lunch money, you go to
Martha's,
Martha.
yeah. I'm going to go get lunch money tomorrow. From
But
Martha.
very, very special lady who is always is, and I say when I connect to everything, like think about Peggy as a gratitude psychologist and being in a state of thankfulness and mindfulness and positivity. That is who Martha. She does everything with a smile, and you know, we all have challenges. We all have something that we're dealing with in one way or another. No one escapes that. So,
as Jim Morrison says, no one here gets out alive.
but one tip two tips that Peggy said is before you even put your feet on the ground out of the bed in the morning, say thank you. You can think about what you're thankful for, but just say thank you. You woke up, you're alive, and you have a day ahead of you,
Okay.
right? And the other thing is about not only random and intentional acts of kindness.
Yes.
And there are those that you just choose to maybe buy someone a cup of coffee, or there's something that's more planned, that you're going to make sure that the food pantry in town is stocked with more pasta or more tuna or more peanut butter in order to help families that don't have the funds to provide. And we don't want anyone to be hungry.
Right.
We don't want
And even if you can't give money or food, you can always go to the food pantry and help them rearrange the shelves or do some other things there that don't cost anything other than your time.
and be a role model for your children, and or
They're watching.
or actually even other people. And I have to say, because everyone is watching what you do. And the last thing really is something I do regularly, although there were many tips, and there were actually, people read aloud 31 different benefits of living in a world in gratitude. But because there are so many benefits that are actually, I personally feel those benefits are the same as the benefits of CBD.
You're not going to name them.
No, I don't remember them.
Okay,
But
good.
no. But what I was going to
'Cause
say?
I'm getting cold.
No, the last one I was going to say is about smiling, and I think that is something people need to do more, because the more you smile, the more you'll feel better. And I guarantee, when you're smiling, that other person
Whole world smiles
because
with you.
ultimately, what I think Peggy said
When you're
most
laughing,
is we're
the
talking.
whole world laughs with you.
We're talking about connection, and human connection and love, and being loved, and human connection is why people will live longer.
Correct.
It's about people.
Okay.
So I'm glad you're my people,
Me too.
and I'm glad that you make me smile.
Thank you.
But I'm also mostly glad that I smile, because I do want to feel better, and I want you all to feel better. So keep smiling. Have a wonderful evening. You didn't vote, go vote.
Go
And
vote.
we'll see you tomorrow.